So in our earlier lecture we have started with the basics of exception handling, wherein we have discussed what is exception and how you can benefited with the help of this exception concept. We have seen that there are these important 5 keywords, okay, try, catch, throw, throws, and finally. Using these 5 keywords we can implement this concept in our program. Now let us try to first understand the unique features, or what do you mean by these 5 keywords. So what is the use of this try block? So program statements that you want to monitor for exceptions are contained within a try block. So basically a set of statements or the lines wherein you suspect an exceptions could be there. So those particular statements or the set of statements, blocks, you need to write it within the try block. We will see in the program how to write a try block. Now if an exception occurs within the try block, it is thrown, and where it is thrown? It is thrown inside this catch block. So basically try and catch, they form a pair. Okay, so basically try like this and catch like this, they basically form a pair wherein the set of statement, the lines wherein you expect some certain sort of exceptions, runtime error may occur, you write it here, and if some exception is there, it creates an appropriate object to represent that type of exception, and it throws to the immediate catch block wherein that exception is caught and that exception is processed accordingly. Now system generated exceptions are automatically thrown by the Java runtime system. We have earlier also discussed, like when you do not write this try, catch, throw, this when you do not implement this exception handling by your own, Java has its inbuilt mechanism wherein it tries to identify the type of exception, it creates an appropriate object representing that exception, it throws an exception to exception handler, and exception handler catches it and processes it accordingly. Okay, but you can also try to throw an exception and catch it and process it as per your own logic. Okay, but by using this try, catch, throw, throws, and finally keyword. Now when you do not throw this, when there is an exception, okay, it gets automatically thrown to appropriate catch block. Okay, but you want to manually throw an exception, you need to use the throw keyword. Using throw keyword you can throw an exception. Now any exception that is thrown out of a method must be specified by such a throws clause. Okay, so what is the difference between throw and throws keyword? Okay, throw basically throw an exception. If there is an exception over here, and if you want to throw the exception to appropriate catch block wherein you will be handling that exception and where you will be processing that exception, you use the keyword throw. And throws keyword, what is the use of throws keyword? An exception that is thrown out of a method must be specified such as throws clause. Okay, wherein, so let's suppose you write a particular function wherein that function is supposed to throw only integer and character kind of a exception only. So that restriction is specified there with the help of throws clause. You will be more clear on this when we will see with the help of program. Any code that absolutely must be executed after a try block completes is put in the finally block. So finally block is a block which will always get executed. If in your code generates an exception, then also the finally gets the lines, the code written in the finally block gets executed. If your code generates an exception, then also the finally block gets executed. So finally the code which you want to execute compulsorily, irrespective of the exception condition, that particular piece of code you can write or you can mention it in the finally block. So this is the overview of these 5 keywords. Let's try to understand this with the help of sample program. Okay. So this is how you can write this exception handling blocks. Okay, so try is basically a keyword. You can write it like this: try and block of code to monitor for the errors. So here you will have your own code. Then you can write a catch. Okay, catch parenthesis, and here whatever the exception is generated and it is thrown, it is basically caught by this catch block. You can have a multiple catch blocks for a given try block, and you can write a finally like this. So whatever lines of code that you will write here, it will get executed irrespective of whether the exception is there or not. So if the exception is there, the exception is handled in the catch block and then finally gets executed. If there are no exceptions, then after this try block completes, finally will get executed. Okay, we will see a detailed programs involving this finally, catch and try mechanism. Now, what are the various exception types? Okay, what are the various exception types? Okay, all the exceptions types are subclass of the built-in class throwable. Okay, throwable is the supreme class. Java, as you all know, Java consists of number of classes for variety of operations. Okay, so throwable is the supreme class. From that supreme throwable class, okay, there are two classes are derived. One is, say, exception class, and one is, say, error class. Okay, one is exception class, another one is error class. Okay, now exceptions of type error are basically used by Java runtime system to indicate errors, having to do with the runtime environment. Okay, but exception means this class is basically used for exceptional condition in your program. So basically we will be focusing on this particular branch, that is exception class. Okay, so you can remember it like this: throwable is the supreme class. Throwable has two branches, one is exception class and another one is the error class. Okay, from exception class there are n number of classes which are derived, say runtime exception, arithmetic exception, no class found exception, array index out of bound exception. N number of exception classes are already been defined by the Java. Okay, and also if you want to create your own type of exception, then also you will be using this exception class. We will see with the help of program. So throwable is the supreme class. From throwable class, two classes are derived. One is exception class and another one is the error class. We will be focusing on our discussions in the next few lectures. We will be focusing on this exception class and classes which are derived from this exception class. Okay, now before going to write an exception and studying it, how these exceptions get handled, let us try to write a simple program and let's see, even if we do not provide any exception handling mechanism, then what happens with this piece of code. Okay, so let's say we have written a class name, main function, one integer d is equal to 0. Okay, and here you have written the statement 42 by d. So 42 divided by 0 and denominator 0, it means it is not permitted. Okay, so what will happen when you write this code? Now here in this code we have not written any try, catch, finally or anything. We have not written over here. Okay, so when Java runtime system detects that you are trying to do an operation that is divide by 0, okay, what it does, it constructs a exception object. The first is creation of a object. creation of a exception object. Second step is it throws that exception. Now when it throws this particular exception, it will cause your this class to stop. It will have, what is the implication of this throwing an exception? That the normal execution of this particular class gets stopped. Okay, because once an exception has been thrown from here, it must be caught by the exception handler. Okay, so here we have not provided any exception handler here, so whatever exception that is being thrown from here, it will be caught by the inbuilt exception handler, default exception handler, which is provided by the Java runtime system. And any exception that is not caught by your program will ultimately be processed by the default handler. Here you are not handling it. Okay, so it will be handled by handling the exception. It will be handled by the Java runtime, default handler. Okay, and the default handler will print the message on the screen. What kind of message it prints on the screen? This kind of a message it prints on the screen. So java.lang.arithmetic exception divide by 0. Okay, so divide by 0 is an exception message, is a type of exception. Now it belongs to the arithmetic exception kind of a exception class in the Lang package, and this particular exception has arrived in your code in exe0.java file. The file name is exe0.java. This 4 is the line number. At line number 4 in exe0.java file, there is a main function, and from there this particular exception is coming out. So as a user, if you if you basically understand this message, the stack trace, you can call it out the stack trace. Okay, then you will be able to identify the correct position. Okay, so this is the file name is some exe0.java, where in the fourth line is this one in the main function, in the exe0 class, divide by 0 exception is there. So you can basically have some idea from where this exception is coming out, and if you want to handle it, you can handle it as per your logic or the programming logic. Okay, now let us see another example wherein it involves a function. Okay, so there is a class, there is a function subroutine, and inside subroutine you try to generate this divide by 0 exception. Okay, and then you have a main function, and inside main function you are giving a call to this subroutine function. Okay, now if you write this kind of a code, now your stack trace will look like this. Okay, let us try to interpret this. exe1.java 7, in the exe1.java file at line number 7 there is a main function, there is this main function. Now this main function gives a call to subroutine function. Now this main function gives a call to the subroutine function, which is available at the line number 4, the subroutine function line number 4. Okay, and java.lang.arithmetic exception divide by 0 in the line number 4, in this subroutine function at line number 4 we are getting this divide by 0 error. So basically, even if you do not mention this try, catch, throws finally, even if the user do not provide this kind of exception handling mechanism in his code, the default Java runtime system has all the capability to identify the exception. Built-in exception classes are there. It creates an object of the exception for appropriate class. It throws an exception. Appropriate default handlers are there which handles those exception, and a complete stack trace which tells you the file name, the function path from main to subroutine function or from subroutine to another function, whatever the complete path is there from main to that particular line, it gets printed in the output screen, and user will be able to trace from where the particular exception is coming out and can take the corrective action. So this is the default behavior. Here we have not implemented any exception handling mechanism. This is default behavior shown by the Java runtime system. Okay. Now let us try to use these keywords to write your own logic wherein you try to handle this exceptions by your own. Okay. So see, this is the class name. We have a main function. Inside main function, whatever we are doing, we want to monitor for the whatever the logic we are doing, we want to monitor it for a exception condition. Okay. So let's say we have created two variables, okay, and then we have written a try. Okay. So here the try begins, and here your try ends. So inside try we have written d is equal to 0 and a is equal to 42 by d. Okay, you have written this kind of a statement over there, and then you have written one system.out.println. Some this will not be printed, this message is there, and this is how your small try block looks like. Okay. Now immediately after try block you have written a catch block. Immediately after a try block you have written a catch block. Now since basically you know that this particular line will generate an exception, and exception of type arithmetic exception, so you need to write an appropriate handler for that. Since you know that from this line an exception will be generated, and after the exception gets generated, the process is like create an object which represents that exception, throw that exception, and catch that exception at appropriate handler. So we know that this particular kind of condition will come in arithmetic exception category. So whatever object is created here will be of type arithmetic exception, and we have written a catch block wherein it is capable of handling arithmetic exception E. So E is object reference of type arithmetic exception class. And then we have written our own message system.out.println division by 0. Our catch ends here, and then system.out.println after the catch statement. Now this is a simple code wherein you have written a try catch block. Now what will be the output of this? Okay, your program will start executing from here. It will go line by line sequential execution over here. Here it will encounter a exceptional condition wherein denominator by 0 or denominator is 0 and divide by 0 exception will be there. So here an object of appropriate exception type gets created. Now what is the type of exception which is getting generated from here? It is of arithmetic exception type. From here an exception is thrown to the appropriate catch block. So after this try, this catch block is written, so this exception is thrown to this catch block, wherein you will accept that exception and you will print this divide by 0 statement. Okay, so divide by 0 statement. So here you will see on the screen that divide by 0 line will be there. Once your exception is over, here we have not written. Okay, once your exception is handled, your program will go straight like this, and you will see after, okay, here division by 0 is there, and after catch statement this line will get printed. This line will never get printed in case of an exception, because once an exception is generated from here, control is thrown to catch block. Here it will process the exception and straight away it will move further. Okay, so in case of a functions, when you transfer a control to a function executes and it returns back. But in case of exception, once the exception is thrown from here, it will be handled by appropriate catch block. catch block will get executed and it will straight away sequentially follow the scenario. It will control will never come back to this particular line. Okay, so this line will not be printed in case of an exception. This is how your simple try block and try and catch block. Now let's see. There is a program. This is a simple program wherein what we are trying to do is, let's try to understand this program. First we are importing. Import java.util.random. Okay, import java.util.random. So random is basically a class using which you can generate random numbers, and it is available in the util directory. Okay, your util directory. So you have imported it, created a class name of your choice, main function, variables ABC all initialized to 0. Random r is equal to new random. Okay, the random is a class. Basically it is used to generate a random number. Now there is a for I equal to 0, I less than 32,000 I plus plus. Okay, this is for, this is for, and this is basically a try block. This is basically a try. Whatever statements are there, okay, you want to monitor those statements for any exceptional condition during runtime. So exceptional condition during runtime means if the division of, say, if this block is evaluates to 0, b by c if evaluates to 0, then denominator will be 0, and then denominator will be 0, then exception will be thrown. So when you compile this particular piece of code, it is okay. Compiler wise it is okay, no problem will be there. But during runtime, since this b is equal to r dot nextInt, it will generate a random number. C is equal to r dot nextInt, it will generate a random number. So b and c will be random number. Somehow during the execution, and this particular loop is going to execute for 32,000 number of times. So during that 32,000 number of iterations, even if at one time this denominator b by c becomes 0, then this particular line will give you an arithmetic exception, that is divide by 0, that we want to monitor. So immediately after try, you have written a catch block wherein you have written arithmetic exception e. E is a variable, e is an object, e is a reference of type arithmetic exception. Once you catch an exception, you will print the message, that is division by 0, and since this line generated an exception, you set the value of a is equal to 0 over here. This is the corrective action that you have taken. A is equal to 0. Your catch block ends here. You print the value of a, and then you continue the for loop. Okay, let's say for the first iteration you print some output. Second iteration you will not generate this exception, you will print the value of a. First iteration is there, generate 2 number, value of a is calculated, no exception is there, you will print the value of a. First value of a is there, second iteration value of a is there, third iteration value of a is there. In the fourth iteration exception is there. So in the fourth iteration you will print divide by 0 message, set the value of a is equal to 0 and print a is equal to 0 in the output, and then you continue the iteration. So even in the case of exception is there, you have printed appropriate message, you have taken corrective action a is equal to 0, and then your code has moved further for, say, again remaining number of iterations. And this is how an exception is monitored. This is how the exception is thrown automatically. We have not used throw keyword. Java exception is automatically thrown. It is caught by this handler. This is caught by this handler. Appropriate message is printed. Corrective action is taken, that the value of a is equal to 0 that you have initialized, printed the value, and again you have moved ahead to execute this loop completely. So this is simple program wherein you can see the use of try catch block, how you can print the message in case of an exception is there, how you can take corrective action, how you can print the values, and how you can generate a now see when an exception is there, here, what we have seen here, when an exception is there, okay, when an exception is there, it creates an object. First step is creation of an object to represent the type of an exception. That exception object is created. Second, it throws an exception object. Then exception object is caught and appropriate message is printed. Now this message, the complete stack trace, it is a system defined message. So when you want to have your own message to be displayed, when you want your message, you want to type a message which a user can more precisely understand. Okay, so see, java.lang.arithmetic exception divided by 0, this is a system defined message. Okay, but you want this exception word to be implemented over here, or any kind of a message that you want to display. Okay, so you can do so by writing it like this. Okay, and here there is one toString method. There is a toString method which is defined in this throwable. Okay, throwable is a class which is a supreme class. We have seen throwable is a supreme class. From throwable we have derived an exception class, and from exception class we have derived an arithmetic exception class. Okay, so if you want to define your own if you want to define your own exception messages, then basically you need to override this toString method. We will see how to override this toString method when we will create our own exception class. Okay, just till then you hold back on this particular point. We will see this in detail with the help of example. Okay, we can do so that. Now multiple catch clauses. Okay, now let me read it for you. In some cases more than one exception could be raised by a single piece of code. Okay, to handle this kind of a situation, you can specify 2 or more catch clauses, each catching a different type of exception, each catching a different kind of exception. When an exception is thrown, each catch statement is inspected in order, and first one whose type matches that of the exception is executed. After one catch statement executes, the others are bypassed and execution continues after the try catch block. Let us understand this with the help of this simple program. Now here in this program, two kinds of exceptions are possible. Intentionally we have written here two kinds of exception should be there. So first one is, it is class name, the main function. We have written a try block. Here your try block ends. Here in try, first we have calculated the length of this argument, args ka length, the command line argument dot length. Here the inputs are provided with the help of command line, therefore args dot length. We have printed the value of a. If a is 0, suppose a is equal to 0, then here in this line you will get an arithmetic exception. If a is not 0, then you will not get that exception. So here in this line you may get an exception. If a is equal to 0. Now in the next line you have created an integer array, and which is initialized to 1. So this C array, this looks like this. Okay, this looks like this, the integer array which is having only one element, that is C of 0. This position is C of 0, which is initialized to value 1. And you are trying to access C42 is equal to 99, but C42 is not there, it has only C0. Okay, C42 is not a valid location or valid array index wherein you are accessing or initializing the value 99. The C array has only C0 as a valid index. So if you try to access any memory location which is other than this C0, you will get an exception in this line. Okay, so to handle these two kinds of exception that may arise in this try block, we have written two catch statement. This is your first catch statement, this is your second catch statement. In the first catch statement, you have written a code to handle arithmetic exception. So this particular catch block can handle arithmetic exception. And system when arithmetic exception is thrown, this catch block will catch the arithmetic exception and it will print divide by 0 plus e, divide by 0 plus whatever the message generated by the system. So divide by 0 and whatever the system defined message gets printed. If this from this line, suppose this line is clear, the value of a is non-zero, so no exception will be thrown from here. But from here, if some exception is getting thrown, that exception is array index out of bounds exception. Okay, so array index out of bound exception is a class which is derived from exception class, and it deals with this kind of message. It deals with this kind of exception, array index out of bound exception. Okay, so array index out of bound exception. So if this from this line and the exception is created and thrown, this particular catch block will handle it. And after try catch block, this is the message which is after the try catch. Okay, this catch ends here, this catch ends here, and this line is written after the try catch block. So let us try to assume the scenario wherein let us try to discuss various scenarios with respect to this code. Okay, now let's say first scenario is a is equal to 0. Okay, if a is equal to 0, so exception is thrown from here. Exception is thrown from here means an object of type arithmetic exception is created here and it is thrown. So it will check whether the handler block, whether the catch block is written by the user to handle arithmetic type of exception. Yes, arithmetic exception catch block is written by the user. So an exception is thrown from here, control goes to here, this catch block gets executed, and simply the control moves out of all the catch blocks. This particular line after try catch block gets executed and program terminates. Another scenario, that exception that a is not equal to 0, let's say a is equal to 1. So you will not throw any exception from here. This line is okay. From here you will get an exception. So an appropriate object of the exception gets created. What kind of exception is this? Array index out of bounds exception. So an object of type array index out of bound exception is created here, and it will check whether the user has written appropriate catch block to handle this kind of exception or not. If the user has written, this catch block will get called. Okay, array index out OOB plus whatever the system defined message is there, it will get printed. This particular line get printed and this program sequentially exit. Your program will sequentially exit. Okay, see, in the first case, divide by 0 error will be there and system defined message and after try catch block. In the second case, if you try to run this program, array index OOB, so the system defined message and after try catch block. So this is how if you can write a multiple catch statements in combination with the single try. And this, when you use multiple catch statements, it is important to remember that exception subclasses must come before any of their superclass. This is very important. Let's try to understand this one. Okay, so we know that we can write one try which is followed by multiple catch. Multiple catch. Okay, now we have seen the example for this. Now one thing is that here when you know that arithmetic exception may come in my try block, you will write an arithmetic exception ka handler. Here if you know that an array index out of bound exception may come in my try block, you will write that catch appropriate handler for that. And another one kind of exception is that if you don't know what kind of exception would come in my try block, one generic kind of exception, simple exception you can write. So we know that throwable is the supreme class, exception is the next child class, and all my arithmetic exception, runtime exception, all different kinds of exception classes are derived from this one. Okay, now we know that when the arithmetic exception is there, this catch block can handle. When array index out of bound exception is there, this one can handle. Okay, if apart from these two, if some third kind of exception is there in this try block, okay, either there are two ways. Either you can write to appropriate handler, you can write the appropriate catch block or appropriate handler for that, or you can write catch for exception. I mean, you can write like this: catch exception E. So exception is a class which can handle all kind of exceptions. Whether it is arithmetic exception, it can handle. Whether it is some array index out of bound, it can handle. It exception, this kind of a handler, this kind of exception class, this kind of, you can say, catch block can handle all kinds of exceptions thrown from the try block. Okay, now let us try to understand the scenario. How what we are trying to understand over here. See, one class name of your choice, main method, one try message you have written, try ends here, and simple that two lines of code, that is divide by 0. If a is equal to 0, throw an exception, arithmetic exception. Okay, now you can write it like two ways. You can write it. First, you have written catch exception E and this message system.out.println generic exception catch, and another catch arithmetic exception E system.out. This is never reached, some message is there. Okay, now when an arithmetic exception is thrown from this particular line, since the exception is the superclass, of arithmetic exception, this exception is thrown to this catch block. This will handle it, this will be skipped. Okay, and your code directly goes from this line to this line. In a way, in a nutshell, what we can conclude that whatever kind of exceptions you will throw from here, it will be able, this catch block is able to handle this, all the kinds of exception which are thrown from here. This catch block can handle all kinds of exception, and it really doesn't matter whether you write this catch block or any other catch block over here, specific catch blocks here. Okay, so if you write these kinds of code wherein this particular catch can handle all kinds of exception, and remaining catch blocks will never get called. So in Java, such piece of code we call it as unreachable code, and this will give you compile time error. So it is always advisable that you write a try, then you write this arithmetic exception. If you want to write some another exception, that arithmetic array index out of bound exception, you write another catch, another third catch, fourth catch, and at the last to catch you can write that is catch exception. Last catch should be the generic one. If you write the generic one as the first catch, then it will result into an unreachable code, and unreachable code in Java is a